Go to a company that is successful. You will see all the mechanisms and processes from the inside.
And some questions arose, I wrote them down for myself.
It's business. Talking about handyman work.
Your recommendations for us, for the young, for those who have arrived.
A person starts their business when everything is very bad. Choose a direction in which you want to develop so that it is effective.
What newcomers essentially need to do in America.
Somehow earn a living and just get by. But the sequence to start your business correctly, if you come and say, okay, I want to do this, go to a company. Hello everyone. And today we have a very interesting guest, Vitaly. He has been in America for 2 years, a year and a half since he started his business. And he will have, I'm sure, a lot of interesting questions that all people who have come and already have started or are thinking about starting their own business. So, if you're interested, please write comments, like, and subscribe so more people can learn about the channel. We are a new channel. We just started, so I would be very grateful if you subscribed, liked, and commented on this event. Or just write a word, thank you, or didn't like it, or liked it. I would be grateful.
Hi Vlad.
Hello.
Thank you for inviting me, it's very nice. I follow you on Instagram. In principle, we are already acquainted at church. With you it was a little earlier. And some questions arose, I wrote them down, and it would be interesting to hear your recommendations for us, for the young, for those who have just arrived. And the first question is, what should newcomers do in America to start solving their business?
Great question. A person starts their business when everything is really bad, to the point where there's nowhere else to go. That is, they simply have no choice but to start their business because it's very hard, not easy, but they start. The sequence to properly start your business, I believe that choosing the direction in which you want to develop to make it effective is to work in a successful company and gain experience in how they do it, where they are going, because this will save you years. That is, if you come and say, okay, I want to do this, go to a company that is successful. You will see from the inside all the mechanisms, processes, how pricing and salaries happen. Perhaps you won't learn about the prices, but you will see how people work, how operational activities are conducted, what works, where materials are purchased, who the clients are, what they need, what they like and dislike, and how it is executed. So you will work through it, and then you will start moving into a specific business. If we talk about handyman work, it's about somehow surviving. Handyman work is great to start with, to earn a living and just get by. But it's not about business. It's impossible to build a big business in handyman work.
You need a direction?
You need to decide what is yours. It's really great. I heard such a recommendation to go in the direction that you are already familiar with. I worked with plumbing in Ukraine. It was familiar to me. And it was easier for me to move in this direction. It's harder to move in a direction that is completely unfamiliar. It's possible, but difficult. A franchise option is possible. You have to be very careful because you pay a lot of money and get zero in return. Nothing. So there is a franchise. We had a previous guest, Vlad FedEx, and in FedEx, it's a franchise where you don't need advertising or clients. Everything is already provided to you. You just manage this information, but you don't need to buy leads or clients. Because I wanted to take a franchise in restoration. We went there. It's a big company. It owns more than 40 franchises called Neighborly. And they told us, okay, you need to pay us this amount, buy such equipment. The starting capital required was $300,000. They said, you need to have $50,000 for the first 3-4 months to avoid starving. Because they said, we won't give you anything. You will start there, find your own way, develop, and when you start earning something, we will also help you with something. Well, I looked at it and thought, I can start like that on my own.
Well, yes. All right, thank you for the answer. Interesting. Here's another question. So we all arrived. We're looking for where to go. Some are immediately looking for where to find investments for a specific business, for example, building a house. So how realistic is it? Or did you look for any investments for your business? And where do you generally get them? With whom? What connections are needed? Should you turn to banks? Or where do people, Americans, or you look for them? Investments looked for earlier?
There are people who have tremendous experience, similar to this in their country, when do they have this tremendous experience and they say, these are my cases, this is what I can do, he has chances to find investments. If you have never done this or something similar, for example, I am a person who has money, an immigrant arrives, ambitious, great, I believe he will succeed, but I will not give him money. Well, because I would just be throwing it away. He will learn at my expense, you understand, and he will become successful in the future. But the chances that I will profit from this are almost none. So looking for investments is great. There are chances, I'm not saying it shouldn't be done, but personally, as someone who has lived here for 10 years and as an immigrant who came here and doesn't understand the culture of the people, how things work, what's happening here, I won't give money.
If a person already you see understands in this matter, for example, and they have some vision, a plan and skills, and there was some background, for instance, in the same Ukraine, even a small one, right? That would be easier.
I think it could be more like a partnership. That is, someone could partner with the person, form a partnership. So he won't be an investor, he will be more like a partner. And together, well, let's try, because people who have money, there are 100 people who have already worked there, lived there, know everything, and one ambitious immigrant. That is, and chances, hard money loan, there's such a concept, they provide it, they check, and people are involved in this. And people who have a lot of money, they give it to funds that distribute this money, they control them, and there's already a system. Because we arrived, we are new, investments in Ukraine, everyone has been talking about them in recent years. 10, 15 years about investments. Before that, no one had heard about investments, what it was. In the masses, right? YouTube appeared, people started talking about it, and so, investments, everyone talks about investments, they need to be earned. The one who earned them won't just give them away, they know how they are earned. And here it works. The last 150, 200 years, therefore, the system's mechanisms are detailed to the last detail. And they look at you, whether you fit or not, whether you can or cannot. They look at you and already know.
You need to have some case, at least some portfolio, so to speak.
It's no coincidence that in America, banks won't give you a loan at all if the business hasn't existed for 2 years. So if you go to take a loan for equipment or business development, they will give you a loan at 25, 30, 40% per annum. Wow, that's a lot. I went through this path. They offer credit unions, but they say you need to earn 30, 40% to pay off this loan. It's just unrealistic. Because they know whether you'll repay or not, if they will get their money back, the risk is very high. 2 years? 2 years? So if you think that you just arrived and someone will give you $500,000 or $1 million for a house to flip.
It's very difficult. Did you take any investments for your business, or did you start everything on your own?
I didn't take any loans at all except for cars. So I went under my personal, it wasn't for the business, but under my name. And in my name, under my personal guarantees, my social security credit score, I took cars. That is, I took the first hydrojet equipment. I already had Onco registered, but I couldn't get a loan for it. Because legally it was only just opened for half a year. And I kept my handyman plumbing UA, which I had, and I took a loan on it. Because they gave me a loan for it, 6.7, 6.9 pot. And when I tried to take a loan for Onco Plumbing Inc., the corporation that was opened, the company though has been around since 2001. But legally it was re-registered to me in 2019. And when I went to get the loan with the new company, they told me no. When I submitted the documents for handyman plumbing, UA, DBA, there was nothing at all, but it has existed for 2 years. They gave me a loan without any problems.
Interesting in why it works. The consequences of important education here in the USA now for people who have just arrived. Is it necessary? I'm not talking about the English language now, but just about having an education.
Yes, look, for example, I've been working with consulting people since 2020. That is my education. A person who learns more than you work, you do, you grow. Because if you don't engage in education and self-development, there will be no business. There are people who come out. People see and say, she didn't study anywhere like Zuckerberg or someone else. He didn't study and he has it. First of all, he got into college. Taken by God, you understand. He studied, but he had a different direction, more interesting than college. And he left college, he wasn't expelled because he wasn't studying there, and because he didn't understand and he didn't know. Because he had more prospects. So when people say, oh, they have no knowledge, look at the billion-dollar companies they build. No, they studied a lot. They won't tell you about it. Self-development and coaches, and it costs them much more than college. Personally, I have already spent over $100,000 on my self-development.
In what sense? What do you mean?
These are courses, conferences, various things where you learn and take something for yourself. There is no book that will tell you, do this and you will be successful. It doesn't exist. Everyone has their own path. So only self-development, only growth. Investing in yourself, understanding and moving forward.
Great, good, thank you. A question, perhaps it might be a bit cliche, but was there a desire or goal to earn your first million, as they say?
No, my first goal was like this. I had such goals when I started doing business. Yes, my first goal was to earn $1,000 a day. I achieved this goal in about 3 months. Then my next goal was to earn $30,000 a month. After I start earning $30,000 a month, I will start working fewer hours a day. Well, that was my vision. It doesn't quite work that way. Yeah, it goes a bit differently. But, so I had certain goals. For example, to earn $1 million, 10, 100, 150, I don't have any specific or particular goals at this point in time. Currently, that is, there are certain paths, development. I have a global goal to create equipment for the pipeline era, to build a company that would operate across America.
How to become a monopolist?
No, you won't become a monopolist in America in this field, but to occupy a good niche, I am moving in this direction. I don't have millions, but I have goals of achievement, solving issues, problems.
To help people?
To help people, yes. I bring a new technology that helps to do the work faster and better. There's a line for me. I heard a very cool story from Serhiy Rozvadovsky. This was the first time I heard about business at the White Nights in Crimea festival, a Christian music festival. There was a business coach named Serhiy Rozvadovsky. Later on VKontakte, there were many of his audio recordings, and I listened to them a lot. And he said such a cool thing that I remembered. Either you are standing in line for someone, or the line is standing for you. That is, if you are standing in line for someone, you are paying. It means they have something you need. But if you have something that others need, then the line is standing for you. You are no longer standing in line for someone. I want to make it so the line is standing for me.
And the French E, are you selling yours or not? Or have you not reached that point yet?
Not reached yet. I have now opened a branch, in the process of opening. I have already taken the premises. We are promoting there a branch in Los Angeles. So I am working towards that. Because in California, to register a franchise, you need to own and manage a second location for at least a year. Only after that does the state give you permission to register a franchise. I have this idea, but everything needs to be set up, systematized, and tools need to be provided to people. Because I don't want to offer a franchise and,
And handymen come there.
Like many companies in America, they sell you a franchise, they take the money, but they don't really give you the tools to become successful. So you use their name, but it's very hard, to survive and move forward.
The person who buys a franchise, essentially it's the name, the overall will be like yours and it remains yours. They can also perhaps tarnish it somewhere, right?
Well, that can happen. Look, I heard such a great story and I like it. Because if you have a big name and reputation, for example, how many times has McDonald's gotten your order wrong? They didn't put the right sugar, wrong milk, often. But you still go there. Yes, because there is a big name, there is a brand, there is recognition. So locally, you understand that it's the person there, it's not McDonald's. It's the fault of that person who did something wrong. Therefore, if you can occupy a large niche, be large scale, if something happens locally, not as it should, and it will happen not as it should.
The consequences are difficult to work with our people who have just arrived. And whether you invite them or you take them into your company to work, and how difficult it is to work with them, or not difficult, or if they Do they require a higher salary, for example, than Mexicans?
That's a very good question. Our people arrive with big ambitions. Especially when I was a small business and you can't know how much you earn, how much it costs. The person knows the numbers, everything that is happening. It seems to her that you earn this much and you pay him that much. And the person is constantly dissatisfied. And the problem is that people are not satisfied. You need to be able to be happy and develop in what you are. Because when this person then went to work for herself and started hiring assistants and the same situation, well, how is it for you? He says, yes, I didn't think about it. Well, you understand, from the outside, it seems that your boss is earning everything and you are working for him for some money. But in reality, there were days when I paid an employee more than I earned myself. Because there is an agreement and you have to pay, and you pay the employee more than you earn yourself. That's why I don't hire at this stage, because my business is more focused on Americans. That is, I almost don't serve the Ukrainian Russian-speaking community in San Vito. In Lavien, yes, I have more Americans. He needs to go talk to the client, talk to people, with the manager, with the save. And if a person doesn't know English, the question of English, my first question when a person comes is, what is their English like? You know, do they have it? Don't they? Can they? Can't they? English is needed, but there's no English. And my business is built in such a way that it doesn't work. There are companies that build businesses with slabs, for example, construction. That's why the learning process in plumbing is very long for me, because there's so much water, sewage, concrete, earth. That is everything that has been built over the last 60 years. You need to know how it was built, how it happens. In new construction, it might be faster to train a person because it's more straightforward there. But I don't do new construction, I do service and repair. And service and repair is quite a long path. Training a person. So yes, I don't take it. I have people working on epoxy pipeline. There, it's more similar, uniform. You don't need to talk much. And in such a direction, you can take people. But for a service technician, it's physically impossible. And again, what's the problem? There are issues you send. Does the sales or supervisor go, looks, and he can't speak. And I'm the translator, Katyusha. Sorry guys, but I can't be a translator.
Yes, well, it's a matter of time, and people probably pay attention to this. Clients, it's not quite professional, I think. The most important question that interests me more is related to our faith, so Christianity. And what role did Christianity and the church, or Christian life, play in this business? How is it connected?
Christianity. Well, for me, for example, family, business, Christianity, life, it's all one whole. That is, I don't have a separation because I am who I am. Thanks to the relationship I have with God. So my relationship with God affects how I run my business. Because, for example, I have an important rule, and thanks to which I developed the business and progressed, that even if I lose money on a project, I still do it with quality, as if for God. Whatever you do, do it as if for God. That's how it is. That's my credo in biz.
And does it work?
It works. There was a client, such an interesting story. We had to run a hose through the roof, supplying water under high pressure. But also through a large sewer pipe, you know, a 3-inch one. But someone was doing renovations and inserted a small pipe there. And in short, when we started doing it, dirty water, black water, came through the sink and flooded the bathtub. I brought in a restoration company, we removed everything, dried it all, put everything back, painted everything. But she was dissatisfied. You know, something was always wrong for her. I came to work with her and I told her, yes, we are doing it. We will cover everything, whatever it will be. You know, I tell her about my values, how we do things. So even in the restaurant sphere, she was very dissatisfied. I explained the situation to her. It happens. Our fault. Someone was working. Narrowed it down. She says, yes, there was some company doing it. I say, it happened, it happened. We took responsibility for it. We repaired everything. We put everything back in place. We did as much as we could. We went into the red on this job. She says, well, okay, take a look here too. I look and say, well, you have a problem here, a problem here, a problem here. And we did additional work for this client worth $7,000. Even though she was mad at us, like you wouldn't believe, because my approach, and I did it sincerely. Not to show off to the client, because you can feel when a person is sincere with themselves, or if they're just doing it, like, because it had to be done that way. So I did it sincerely. I spoke to her sincerely. I did it sincerely, and I see that my sincerity. She then gave us another job worth $7,000.
Interesting. Well, when you act according to your conscience, it becomes a blessing. In general, how important is it, perhaps, somehow to people to talk about God during work? Is it feasible in your case? Or is it not worth doing, for example, for people who might come Christians and want to tell people about God and do it while they are communicating with hosts? Is it generally okay? Is it normal in this situation?
I very often see when I arrive, people, a Bible is lying on the shelf. They are believers, they have a Bible. Sometimes we talk about this topic, sometimes we don't. Lately, they ask more about Ukraine, the situation. The conversation mainly turns to Ukraine. Therefore, sometimes there are conversations with people about faith, Christianity, about different things. Not very many. In America, Christianity is very popular. Everyone knows about it. In Ukraine, it's less known. Here, it's more so Protestantism is like that. It's bigger. In New York, when I was in New York, I saw a very cool picture. I didn't read English at the time, I don't remember, but it stuck with me. In New York, on the island, there's a guy standing there with torn shorts, a ripped t-shirt, and he has a Bible. In his hands, a stick, and he's pushing away a boat with Catholic priests who are in their robes, with gold sickles, such a beautiful contrast. So it seems so true to me. America was founded on the Bible, not on religion. But on biblical values, the constitutions are based on the Bible. The rights of people in America are the first in the world. Why? Because the Bible speaks about it. They took the Bible as a foundation, incorporated it into the Constitution, into the Bill of Rights. So it is entirely written based on the Bible. So the people who wrote this Constitution were believers. In America, Christianity does not cause such a resonance because it is more standard as it is in the United States of America, like orthodoxy is for us in a way that is. So orthodoxy for us is typically standard churches, which everyone understands they exist. A lot of people have been there. They know about God. It's not that they don't know about God. It's a life situation when they have something. Christianity and its communication differ here from Ukraine. In Ukraine, everyone is orthodox and has questions, but you are different. What do you have there? There is interest. Here, no such curiosity.
We are very similar to them. We already talked today about the tax system here and how important it is to figure it out yourself in this area, or is it necessary to delve deeply into it, or is it better to leave this matter to someone who deals with it, like a professional accountant, for example, right? And then should they handle the taxes, or should we find out ourselves and have some understanding?
Look, when your business is up to 200, 300,000 a year, do it yourself. Record everything. There aren't that many transactions and everything. You can handle it yourself. More than 300, it's advisable to hire someone, at least part-time, but someone who will manage all your books, enter all transactions, and do it correctly. That was my mistake. I found someone on a freelance basis thinking it was simple. Just do it. But she did it, and she did many things incorrectly. Because I couldn't keep up myself. I handed it over to someone, then I looked and realized, since I'm not an accountant, that this is wrong. That's wrong. So I outsourced and hired someone from abroad. And she did some things. Because of cultural differences, you need to understand the person should be from here. The accounting and the person handling it should be from here. They need to understand the rules, norms, standards as they change. And do this. Can you hire someone from another state where it's a bit cheaper? And she will do this for you. You can outsource someone, but they must be local, definitely local, to handle your numbers, taxes. This is very important. Because when things are done incorrectly for you, and you won't even know it, then the IRS will come to you. You won't be able to handle it. Yourself, if it's over $200,000, you need to develop the business. It's already underway. Up to $200,000. You can do all this yourself. You don't need an accountant.
And they say that if the IRS comes, for example, if you've unknowingly caused some trouble for yourself, and the IRS arrives. How dangerous can this be for us? They say you can even be put in prison for some manipulations.
Look, you'll be put in prison if you haven't paid taxes on $1 million or $2 million. Because if you haven't paid $50,000, $100,000, the salaries of these inspectors, it's a business. There's business there too. They calculate if it's profitable for you. Will you profit from it, or will you end up in the red? You understand. So the question is, if you're specifically violating rights and submitting completely incorrect reports, an inspector will come to you because there are red lines. Specifically, if it turns out that you've written something completely off the mark here and there, and it can't be like that, then an inspection will come to you. I know. In 10 years in America, working with different people, at the very beginning I heard about one person who had an IRS inspection. But he specifically wrote that he didn't earn anything there, even though he did. And when the IRS came, he was asking the guys for some checks, receipts to show that he had some expenses there. So he specifically took and wrote a lie, a big lie. They came to him. In the end, as much as I've worked with people in 10 years, I don't know a single person who was audited.
They didn't come to you either? No. Good day. In general, do the guys work with their hands, or do you work with your hands yourself? Or do you just come, take a look, and manage things on site when some work process starts? Or do you still have to work yourself?
I try not to work with my hands. I enjoy working with my hands. Really, yes. I love working. I hear that from everyone. I had the year 2023, and I tried to go to the office, become an official boss, work in the workplace environment. It ended very badly. For me personally, it was a very tough year. And when there was an opportunity to do something, I even recorded videos. I really enjoyed it. We changed the toilet. For example, yesterday, a person was supposed to go for a camera inspection. But it turned out that he was delayed at work, he couldn't make it, and the client was already waiting for him. Well, I said in the office, that's it, I'm going. I took the camera and went to do the camera inspection. You understand, into the sewer, inserting the camera, looking, and there I found the problem. As if I showed it, that's it. And I gave two options there. One option was maintenance for $2,000 and repair for $23,000.
Why did I ask this question? Because as far as I compared with Ukraine and our Ukrainians who have advanced a little in some business direction and still not having anything, let's say, serious, they are already each a boss. And here I come, I see, there we have Alexei, an acquaintance, and a few other people who already have quite sizable companies, as for America. As for Ukraine, probably. It's generally yes, and they, I see, work with the guys, installing windows together. And I ask the question, why don't you just come to watch, manage, stand aside, and observe? But you are working. It seems to me that we have a mentality that we come here and now...
Not mentality, money.
Maybe money.
Because the labor cost there is not much compared to the project value. Here, the labor cost is much higher compared to the project value, and if you don't do it yourself there, manage it. And it drags on for a day or two longer, with overtime, double time. You'll end up in the red on the project. So it's not that we want to work and we like it, but it's also about the money. It's also about the money because hiring another person to sometimes back you up to do the work. You just can't afford it financially.
Because we just think that now we'll arrive and everything will take off. We'll have a very, very fast and very successful business.
If you are a talented person and you can systematize, well, you have to stop working with your hands there. 3, 5, 7 million. You physically won't be able to work with your hands. But 1, 2, up to 3 million, you will be working with your hands. Turnover, because there's not that kind of money there. In fact, in America, the hardest part is from 1 to 3 million. Up to 1 million, business is easy. Because you have a few assistants, 1 or 2. And that's $1 million business per year. That's not many people. Now, 2 to 3 million is exactly the point where you don't have enough money to hire good people for the job, not to work yourself, and you end up handling everything yourself. And there's no time. So, from 2 to 3 million is the hardest. period in business.
How do you think, when will you reach that milestone, let's say, when you start hitting 7, 10, 15, 20? How long will it take you to get there?
That's a difficult question. I don't set such a timeline for myself. Why? Because I know, like in Christianity, you asked a question about this before. I have a certain goal. I have mentioned it before. I won't repeat it 10 times. For those interested, they can watch other interviews. But to reach this goal, I don't know. It's very big, cosmic. I don't know how to get there, how to pave the way. So I told God, yes, I want to be here. But how I will get there, I don't know. That's why in my life, there were many moments when a certain direction opened up, there was a problem. But as a result of this problem, a direction opened up and I followed that direction. So these moments, they are unknown to me. I went to Sacramento. There was a small business club and I was invited as a speaker to talk with people.
That was days ago, right?
Yes, I was there a few days ago and I met a really great person, Dima. In 7 years, he started from scratch in construction and they grew to 20 million. They started with remodeling, but then switched exclusively to roofing. And with that, they went from 4 jumps a year to 17 million in a year. In a year, to me, that's astronomical.
This on roofing.
On roofing, in a year, or from 12 to 60. I remember there was some kind of unreal jump.
Millions. How did they achieve that?
There were 3 partners. One handled roofing, the second handled marketing, and the third managed business organization. And they managed to do all of it. For example, this Dima, he says, I don't even know how to hammer nails. He never actually did that, certainly, as a matter of fact. His goal was different. I was alone in the business, so I did everything. I handled absolutely everything. Everyone has their own path. Don't look at others thinking someone is there and I'm here. For example, you come and see how someone has achieved something. You don't know the path they took. You don't know the price they paid. They started their journey here, and you are starting your journey here. And that's why you wonder why they are so far ahead. Whether they started earlier and have already traveled this path while you are just beginning. So, it's not a comparison. Comparable things. To compare this, I do not recommend it. Comparing someone's business. Look at your business. What you can do. What is the profitability of this business? How you can scale it. It's very important to look at the business. What is the largest business in its niche? For example, you started making kitchens. Okay, what giants, what big companies? How are they developing? How long have they been on the market? And can I build such a company? Conduct an analysis of those who have been on the market for 20 years. And don't just take one person who controls a large percentage of the market, because you won't take it away from them. But if many companies are doing the same thing, I came into plumbing. Why? I see many different companies' vans driving around with plumbing. This means they have money. You can build a business, wrap the vehicles, create a business, and build a business. That is, there is an opportunity. There are companies that don't shine with advertising or vehicles, but they are large. They simply don't need it. They have a B2B business and they scale it, and it's big. So go there, look at the competitors. In the niche you're entering, who are the competitors? And how big is the pie? If the pie is big with many successful companies, it means you will also have your share there. But if the pie seems big, yet there are only 2 competitors, it's more likely that the piece of pie you take from them will be very small. These 2 competitors will earn 80%, and then another 100 competitors will earn 20% and divide it among themselves. You need to look at and analyze the market.
Another question is how to properly set up your campaign so that it works, for example, with advertising. If we are talking now, you mentioned before that there should be a license and so on, but in general, on which platforms, where to go, whom to contact, where to advertise, Instagram, YouTube, where...
Great. For me, this is still such a complex issue, not completely resolved. So my scaling is hindered precisely by advertising. That is, I haven't closed it yet. But again, I met a great guy, Dima, who gave me a few great ideas. And I was told this 2.5 years ago, but I didn't hear it. I was told there are 2 types of marketing. That is, there is lead purchasing, when you buy leads, and there is branding. That is SEO, branding, YouTube. All these things are great. as branding, but they don't bring clients right now. And there are platforms that different people sell for construction, for various purposes. There are many platforms. A good quality lead. In construction costs from $150 to $250 per lead. Out of these, about 80% will be clients. Well, estimates, out of them, you'll close about half. But these leads need to be purchased. And I am currently dealing with this issue to reconfigure and start buying leads.
On any specific platform?
Yes, there are many different platforms. So go online, take a look. I'm not ready to say much about it now. I haven't tried it yet. I tried with some, it didn't work out, and I was like, no. What's up with it? I think I need to change my approach. Because this company, which grew so quickly, grew precisely because they were acquiring people.
You mentioned around $150, $250 per lead. I know that. They buy for $10 and for $15. Is it better to invest more money locally? Or little by little, like $10, $20, $50 per lead?
The question is, what kind of work job check?
If we take, for example, a handyman.
If it's a handyman, a job for him is $250. How much will it cost? It's not profitable for him to buy. But for a handyman, leads, it seems, on platforms, they are $50, $60. So for a handyman, a lead costs much less. He can earn $250, $300, $1,000, $2,000, or he might make $1,000 or two, or maybe $1,000 or two make. So it varies differently.
There is a very big difference when a company with a license comes and when the same handyman comes and the casterman is immediately filtered out. Of course.
What's the difference? The one who goes to the handyman is very often the most problematic client.
Maybe they don't have money yet, perhaps.
He doesn't have money, or he doesn't want to spend it, or he knows himself, but he doesn't want to. So you come and he tells you how to do it because he knows everything, but he just doesn't want to. And he stands over you. Yes, I need to change the pressure regulator, the pressure on the house, the pressure regulator. He says, I know that you just need to unscrew 2 nuts and put the number, but my wife doesn't allow me to do it, so I need to. Of course, he won't pay how much it costs for that. He will pay $20, $30 for someone to tighten 2 nuts. Because he's not paying for the replacement of the pressure regulator, he is paying for unscrewing and screwing 2 nuts. Well, you understand. This is a different approach, and you can't build a business on that.
Well, in general, what are the recommendations? A person who has entered some platform, how should they develop there? What is needed for this? If English is not very good, for example.
For handyman, there's Tamtech. Tamtech. Yelp is expensive. You need to look for other platforms for handymen. I don't know, but I'm a fan that they exist. There are ones like eLocal, you know, that one. There are ones like Networks. I tried both eLocal and Networks. It didn't work out. But they have shared leads. When you buy a lead, but they sell it to 4 other people. But now, the law has definitely changed. And it's certainly illegal. So now those platforms that did share leads won't be able to do it. It was banned at the legislative level.
That's very interesting.
This happened recently, by the way.
It's a big plus for handyman, for example.
It's your exclusive lead. Only you are going there.
You paid money for it?
Otherwise, you pay money, but you still have to compete with 4 to 5 million others. I had it on Yelp. I tried it as an experiment. I wrote there, great job, the pipe is leaking, everything. And I sent a request to see how it works. 12 people contacted me. So they sold my lead to 12 planners. And I didn't even want to buy it. I was just checking how it works. I said, no, I won't use this service. Thank you, no need.
Yes, we will also work through this platform. I see. That's what I wish for. If they show us the truth, for example, I receive a lead, and it turns out that 4 other people also received it, sometimes 5, sometimes 8, but on average 3 to 4 people. And you fight for this lead if it's something worthwhile.
But you can't build a business on this, right? And that's why this law was passed. I think that soon it will change there too. Or someone will sue them and make millions from it.
Well, maybe that will be me. Ha 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 ha. That's basically all I have on such matters, and I'm very grateful for the great conversation.
I want to say, don't be afraid to start your own business. It's hard, but it's possible. Vitaly, You started your business after a year, right? Yes. What motivated you to start your own business?
I worked, visited the fields, worked, they paid me, tuna factories.
I worked there.
Yes, it's laminate and it's vinyl. I worked there for 3 months, 16.50 per hour, 8 hours, 10. And I understood that I needed this to understand how construction works in America in general. It was very interesting. I worked and realized that it was enough. I already understood how it works here. The specific direction of the fields, I went to the very well-known DoorDash. I worked at DoorDash for about half a year. And then I was offered a position at a company with people from our church. And I started working with them. This was with Ihor and Ruslan. I worked with them. Vadim was also there. I worked with them for half a year. Then I registered with Tamtech. Before that, I did LSI and started gradually working here and there. Then I got another partner, Maxim, and I slowly started moving away from the guys and worked about once a month. And now, to this day, we have come to work independently, specifically not with anyone else. We are working together, and thank God, we are making progress little by little. We have some goals and want to specifically obtain a contractor's license, and I hope we will achieve this soon.
Well, congratulations. Welcome to America. The American dream. It is possible. In America, the American dream is possible. It is not fantastical. It is not cosmic. It is absolutely real. Not everyone will truly have the strength to achieve it.
The main thing is not to give up.
Patience. There will be a lot of pressure. It will be very hard to move forward. Not everyone will have the strength and patience. If you don't have it, go to work. Maybe it's easier for you. Not everyone can be a businessman. It's not for everyone. But if you have the desire and you have something inside that pushes you and says, yes, I will do it. I need it. You will do it. Don't even doubt it.